Hey guys, what I wanted to do is to go over unwrapping your low poly crate. There's several ways to unwrap things, so I'm going to show you some different ways to do it. There's no right or wrong way, just different ways to approach it. So I'm going to go over some different ways and then you choose which way you want to do it, whatever works best for you. Okay, let's get at it. Okay, so we've got our crate here, low poly crate. Now just make sure everybody understands we unwrap the low poly, we don't unwrap the high poly. The high poly is just to be able to cast normal maps onto the low poly, and the low poly needs to be unwrapped to do that. Okay, so make sure you have your sub objects off, and then you want to go ahead and put an unwrap UVW on here. Okay, then you get that uploaded. Now, I've already put a material on here, and let's go ahead and just sample this. And I've got a checker pattern on it. I set the checker in diffuse. I'm just using a standard shader, and I'm setting a tiling of 50 to 50. And that'll give us checkers a pretty good size, decent size to be able to check our piece. Okay. Now the first thing I want to do is to remove all of these pieces. So I'm under polygon, and I'm going to drag them all out so they're not in our one-to-one space. Okay. Now, at this point, for the unwrapping right now, I don't really need this checker on, so I'm just going to unplug that, and then we'll be ready to go to the next stage. Okay, what I'm going to do is do an auto unwrap. And so this is a way, we kind of call this a garbage unwrap. So we just pick all of the polygons, and then we're going to go up here to mapping, flatten mapping, and then it's going to flatten, map them out by an angle. The angle is 45 degrees. You can change that, but I'm just going to click OK. And that's going to initially unpack our stuff. And if I turn our diffuse back on, and let's open up our editor again. And then we need to make sure that we've got it turned on in our viewport. This button right here shows shaded material viewport so we can see it. And you'll see we've got some pretty good size checkers. They're pretty much the same size and everything. And now we just need to deal with different pieces. Now, one of the things I had done, which I forgot to tell you. So let's go here, and is there's a top to this piece. And for right now, I don't want to have to deal with the top. I just want to deal with the bottom. So I am going into element mode. I'm picking this element, and then I'm just going to hide it. So hide selected, and then it hides it. I'll come back to it, but first I just want to unwrap this piece. Okay. Now, when you first come in, now that we've done a cursory unwrap of this, you've got all these green edges in here. I'm going to go ahead and turn down here under display, and I'm going to tell it to turn those off, and then I just don't see them on the model. Okay, so some things that we want to do, though, I'm going to turn it back on for a minute so we can just kind of look at the model. And what you're going to do, if you really come in here and look, and I'm going to turn, the checkerboard off again, so we don't need to see that right now, is we've got some little pieces in here and these little edges, and I don't want to have it done that way. So what I'm going to do is to come in here, and I'm going to pick polygons by angle. So by angle 15 degrees, and that way I can pick this, and it's going to pick that whole edge. Okay. Now, another thing you can do is not do that, but you can go inside of here. And what we're really trying to do at first is just determine what's what in here. And to me, it's not an advantage when I'm first doing this to have this checkerboard in here, so I turn it off. So if I double click on this piece, that's that whole piece, and I can pull it out. Now what I'm going to do is these edges I'm going to attach to the one on the right. So you'll see these are attached, but there's one missing right here. So if I go to edge and I pick this edge, I can pick it here, then it'll show it to me in here. Then all I have to do is right click, stitch selected, and it will bring that little piece onto it. So now you'll see that I can come in here under polys, double click, and I've got that all on there. Okay, I don't want these pieces on here, so I'm going to pick this one and this one, and I'm going to go in here and I'm going to detach that. So I hit break, and then that's off as a separate piece. Now the reason I'm doing that is I'm going to kind of do these like they're all left-handed. So what I mean by that is this piece goes onto this one, not that one. So this is the front. We rotate around and it's got that lip on it. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing here. By the way, I'm going to go ahead and move this out of our way. Okay, well then we're going to pick this one by angle. There we go. And then we want to check this other side, and I want all of this side to be welded onto this. So I'm going to pull this one out, and then I'm going to grab edge, and I'm going to pick that edge so it's easy to know which one it is. Go to my move, and there it is. So all I have to do is double click. Well, actually, let's go. Nope, it's broken, so we're just going to manually pick here and here, and right click, stitch selected, and then I'm going to break this other edge. So here, here, and this one, and break that. So now this piece, and it's got, okay, and I'm still missing that little piece right there. So we got to get here, there it is. So go to edge, pick this edge. I need to stitch that one. Okay, just to make sure all these vertices are welded, so I'm going to pick all the vertices and weld selected. Now I don't like that this is at an angle right there, so what I'm going to do is go to edge, double click on this. Okay, now I don't want this other selection, so I'm holding down the Alt key. So I'm getting, and now I'm holding down the Control to get these. And this one. And now I can make those straight. So I want everything straight. I want this straight too. And then I can relax this. So if I pick this, tools, relax, relax it. I need to relax this one too. Okay, those two are done. Okay, so now I've gotten Let's do this one. So here, and we've got which side of this do we want? This side. Okay, those are on there. I need to get this stitch selected. Okay, let's pick that and let's go into tools. Let's relax this. Okay. And so then this one. Okay, so I want that. So what I need to do is to go to edges, grab that. That's that whole edge right there. And then stitch selected. And then I want to weld everything, so all the vertices and weld selected. All right, let's relax that. Okay, I think that's got all of my edges going around this. Just pick these and look. Don't need that grid on. Okay, so that's got all the pieces going around it. Okay, let's do the top. So pick that, and then I'm going to okay, so got this one. Double click on that. Move that out. And that's got, let's make sure it's got that outside ring all the way around, which it does. And then we'll want to relax that. Okay. Now this has got some little corners on those, and we can put those wherever we want. Let's go ahead and put them on this piece. So all we have to do is weld them onto one of these sides. So all you have to do is click one of these, stitch selected, and then let's do here, stitch selected, and then we'll put them on these bottom ones on the opposite sides. And stitch select that. That'll get those. And we'll just relax that one more time. Okay. Okay, that's one of those center panels. That's the bottom. And I want to stitch those back onto the bottom, so we should be able to go here, stitch selected, and get each one of those bottom pieces on here. There you go. And let's go here. Okay, that's the bottom piece. And let's make sure it's got all those edges on them. It does. And then we're going to need the little triangles with it too. So we'll do the same thing. Stitch those in. Okay. And let's relax that. Okay, which piece is this? Okay. And all of these, we're going to want those little lips on these. So should be, maybe I can go, can I do two at one time? Nope, it's only going to let me do one at a time. There we go. Okay, that's an inside piece. That doesn't look right. Okay, so this piece has got issues. It's going to have issues. Let's relax that. All right, let's grab this edge. Okay, so that one, that one, that. Okay, so those are all of these. Are done. Okay, so this one, you got to do the same thing with it. Stitch those little edges in those. Okay, now we got these little cross pieces. Where are those? Okay, see how these are not quite straight? So what we want to do here is to grab the edge here. Just grab one edge, click this button, and that will straighten that. Same thing, straighten this one. Okay, so now we should stitch selected, stitch selected, and let's relax this. Okay, let's stitch that one. Nope. So why am I having an issue with that? Okay, why is that giving me a hard time? Okay, what's up with that? Okay, so alright, so we go here, stitch selected. Alright, so that's giving us and we need this other side. There we go. Stitch selected. Okay. And let's do the same on this one. Stitch selected. Okay, there we go. Let's move those out. And so that got both of our cross bars in there. Okay, let's see, what do we got here? Okay, so that's part of the top. So let's see. This is the bottom, so that's okay. And by the way, just so you know, anytime we select something like this and you see that blue, that means those belong to that piece. Okay, and so let's go ahead and let's stitch these. Okay. Okay, got that. And we're going to need to do the same thing here. By the way, these keys are here. 1 is vertice, 2 on your keyboard is edge, 3 is polygon. So I go 2, stitch selected, stitch selected, and stitch selected. So I go back to 3, double click, and that moves that together. Double click here. Okay, that's going to be those other sides. By the way, Z is zoom to zoom in on something. So go back to 1, click, stitch, click, stitch, click, stitch, click, stitch. So this method that we're using is a method in which we break everything apart by angle, and then we pick things that, and this is part of the top. Okay, so these all are part of the top. So now that we have this all out, okay, what we're going to do is I'm going to close this, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to collapse this in so I can't lose it. So if I go ahead, I can either right click here, convert to editable poly, or I can right click on here and collapse all. The faster method to me is this one out here. Close this. And now that embeds what we've done permanently in there. Let's go ahead and unhide the top. So now I'm going to hide the bottom. So I'm going to pick the top, hide unselected, and then we can deal with the top. Turn off our sub-object and go ahead and put an unwrap on here. And now when I open up the unwrap, you will see that it's still got all my other stuff in here. But now I can see that since I have this picked, these are all the pieces that belong to it. So let's go. I'm going to pick by angle right here and pick that, so I know that's that. And then we need to stitch those little edges in there. Let's turn that checker off. Okay, so let's stitch this one. Nope, don't want to do that. All right, let me look here. So we want this one. Okay, so we've already got that stitched together. So what do we got here? What are these? Oh, okay, that's those sides. And that's together correct. We need to stitch these little corners in. So okay, what else we got in here? Okay, that's fine, that's fine. This. Oh, that's the inside. Okay, so we still have these little pieces. All right, what do we got here? Okay, so those are on the edge. That's okay. That's all right. So these pieces are those. Okay, I'm going to move this down. Yeah. So stitch selected here. Oops. And then these down here. Oops. So not that. Okay, these stitch on right there. Stitch selected, stitch selected. Okay. Okay, I think we've got everything stitched now. Now we need to pack everything. And we're going to use this pack right here. But this padding of 2 is too much. I like 0.002. And then that gives you enough padding around those. And we'll just double check and make sure everything is relaxed and flat. Pack it again. It's a little close there, so I'm going to take that one and just move it up a little bit. Okay, then there's a pretty good pack. Then we want to go ahead and collapse that in so it's permanent into it. And I need to go ahead and unhide everything. And so now we can put our checker back on to our object. And make sure it's on. And now we've got a nice unwrapped, ready for baking. Okay. So hopefully that helps you guys figure out an easy way to unwrap our crate. All right. Thank you very much.